It's been a strange week here in Spain. There was a very large winter storm that flooded several areas in Valencia, just down the coast here. A lot of people have died. The last number I saw was over 200 people. I don't think I have anything really intelligent to say about the Valencia situation. It would be sort of depressing doing all the research to figure out what to say, but I didn't want to leave it completely unmentioned. A lot of volunteers are collecting donations, and people have gone to these small towns to help out. Valencia City, as far as I know, is fine. It's the surrounding towns, some of which have been pretty badly hit. In other news, I've never seen Spanish people so pissed off at their government. The government response has been basically to cast blame back and forth from the regional government to the national government. The king and Pedro Sanchez the other day went out to one of the towns that was the hardest hit. They had people throwing mud at them. Pedro Sanchez abandoned the scene immediately. The king tried to hang around and talk to some people. Generally, everybody in government blaming everybody else while there are still people missing is not a good look, and Spanish people are not appreciating it. So, wishing the best to anybody down in Valencia. Here in Barcelona, all we had was a lot of rain. There was some flooding. Part of the airport actually got flooded yesterday. There was a huge puddle in the middle of one of the terminals for some reason. But generally, I don't think anybody has been hurt or killed. So we're doing okay. We had a couple of big storms with, lightning rattling the windows and rain so thick I could barely see outside. But I'm fine. I hope you're fine. This is not a real episode of the podcast. I'm just saying hi here. But I will be back soon. I have an article all written up about symbols of Spain. You can go by the web expatmadrid.com to read that. Symbols of Spain, from the flag to the coat of arms, the national anthem, paella, the Osborne bull, all the official and unofficial symbols of Spain. It was a fun article to write, and it's got an important visual aspect to it because it would help if you could see some of these symbols while you're reading. So that's all on the blog, expatmadrid.com. You could go to expatmadrid.com/symbols. I'll just set up an easy link there. expatmadrid.com/symbols. I will record that as a podcast eventually, but for now I don't really have a ton of time this week. I'll tell you about my next thing in a minute. But first, today in the US we also have a presidential election. Nothing bores me more than when some podcaster who I follow for fitness advice or personal finance or whatever suddenly starts giving these long partisan rants about how they are uniquely positioned on the right side of history, and everyone who disagrees with them must be wrong. So I'm not going to do that. I hope you get out and vote if you are from the US or in the US. I hope you are able to vote, and we'll hope that things go well. Having said that, of course, if 2020 is any guide, we've got 3 months until someone is going to be actually sworn in as the next president, and things could get a lot dumber before they start calming down again. But I like to remember at these times what the Stoic philosophers and Stephen Covey, I believe, the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, have to say about the circle of control. The circle of control, the things that you control personally, or that I control personally, is probably much narrower than the things that we are concerned about. The more time we spend focused on things we can control rather than things we can't control, the more impact we can have on our world. All of which, without further ado, brings me to my next adventure. Raul out at biketourinSpain.com has offered me once again the opportunity to go on one of his bike tours, this time across Extremadura. If you're not aware of Extremadura, it is in the southwest of Spain, close to the border with Portugal. So I'll be out there all next week, unless something cataclysmic happens, and I'll be cycling between towns in Extremadura. Extremadura is a part of Spain that people do not talk about much, so I'm looking forward to seeing some of it and having an opportunity to write and speak about some of the, I hate the expression, but off the beaten path areas of Spain. I might create a few updates along the way. I'll certainly be posting something on Instagram if you want to follow me on there. I'm just Daniel Welsh, Welsch, over on Instagram. You can follow along. I'll be in Sevilla on Friday, and then after that I'll be headed off to Extremadura. If you're interested in going on a bike tour in Spain, then guess what? BiketourinSpain.com is the place for you. I went on the tour of La Mancha, the route of Don Quixote, earlier this year. You can find the episode about that. It's episode 76. It was great, and from what I've seen, Raul over there has some prices that are very good compared to your average bike tour experience. So check that out, biketourinSpain.com. There's routes across Valencia, actually, which Raul has told me is unaffected by the flooding. There's also La Mancha, like I did, Extremadura, and some others. I'll have an episode about the Extremadura experience once I get back, but that could be a couple of weeks from now. So I will be radio silent for a bit here. Either way, thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. From beautiful and mostly dry Barcelona, hasta la próxima. Bye.